After pre-training, a language model still needs to be aligned, taught to give the answers people actually prefer. The classic way is RLHF, reinforcement learning from human feedback, but it is famously complex. Direct preference optimization, or DPO, reaches the same result with plain supervised training and no reinforcement learning. In this video, why alignment is hard, what DPO is, the data it needs, the loss, the code, and its variants. Here is the challenge. A pre-trained model writes fluent text, but does not naturally know which of two answers a human would prefer. RLHF solves this in 3 stages. Collect preferences, train a separate reward model to score answers, then use reinforcement learning, usually PPO, to push the model toward high reward outputs. It works, but it is fiddly. You juggle up to 4 models at once, and the RL step is notoriously unstable and expensive. Here's that loop in motion. A policy model writes 2 replies. A reward model, trained on human rankings, scores them. Then PPO nudges the model's weights to make high-scoring replies more likely, while the reference model keeps it from drifting. Generate, score, update, again and again, until the model reliably prefers what humans prefer. DPO, introduced by Stanford researchers in 2023, asks a sharp question: do we really need all that machinery? Their insight was that the reward model and the reinforcement learning step can be collapsed into a single equation. Instead of training a reward model and running PPO, DPO turns alignment into one ordinary classification problem, fine-tuning the model directly on human preferences. Side by side, the difference is stark. The RLHF pipeline trains a separate reward model, then runs PPO to maximize that reward, keeping up to 4 models in memory and fighting instability. DPO throws out the reward model and the reinforcement learning entirely. It keeps just 2 copies of the model and trains with a single supervised loss. Same goal, far fewer moving parts, and much easier to get working. The clever part is the math. RLHF tries to find the model that maximizes reward while staying close to the original, and that constrained problem has a known closed-form solution. DPO rearranges that solution, so the language model itself implicitly acts as the reward model. So you never train a separate score. The policy and the reward become 2 views of the same thing. That is what lets you replace reinforcement learning with simple gradient descent. DPO runs on preference data. Each training example is a prompt paired with 2 responses, one that a human marked as better, the chosen answer, and one that is worse, the rejected answer. These labels can come from people, or from a stronger model judging the outputs. In practice, the dataset is just rows of prompt, chosen, and rejected. That simple triple is everything DPO needs to learn what good looks like. So what does the loss actually do? For every pair, DPO nudges the model to raise the probability that it would generate the chosen answer, and lower the probability of the rejected one. It does this relative to a frozen reference copy of the model, all wrapped in a simple binary cross-entropy objective. In effect, you are teaching the model, prefer this kind of answer, avoid that kind by exactly this margin. Encoded is refreshingly short. Hugging Face's TRL library gives you a DPO trainer. You load a dataset of prompt, chosen, and rejected rows, set beta, pointed at your model and a frozen reference copy, and call train. There is no reward model to build, and no reinforcement learning loop to babysit. If you have ever run supervised fine-tuning, this will feel completely familiar. One knob matters most: beta. It controls how far DPO is allowed to pull the model away from that frozen reference. A low beta aligns aggressively, but risks the model forgetting its general skills or overfitting to the preferences. A high beta keeps it close to the original and safe, but learns less. Tuning beta is the main lever you adjust, and the reference model is what keeps the whole thing from drifting off the rails. DPO kicked off a whole family of methods. KTO, inspired by behavioral economics, drops paired data and learns from single thumbs up or thumbs down labels. ORPO goes further and removes the reference model entirely, folding fine-tuning and alignment into one step. There is also IPO and SymPO. Each tweaks DPO to fix a specific weakness, but the core idea stays the same. DPO is everywhere in open models. Zephyr, built on Mistral, was one of the first to show DPO could match heavier RLHF. Alan AI's Chalu 3 made it part of a state-of-the-art open post-training recipe. Because it skips reinforcement learning, teams can align a model on a single GPU instead of a cluster. And any team can shape a custom assistance tone, helpfulness, or safety just by feeding it good and bad example pairs. Here is the number that sums it up. Classic RLHF can keep 4 models spinning at once: the policy, the reference, the reward model, and a critic. DPO cuts that to just 2, the model and a frozen reference, and replaces the whole RL loop with one supervised loss. Less memory, less instability, less code. That is why DPO became a default alignment recipe for open models almost overnight. So, to recap, aligning a model means teaching it which answers people prefer. RLHF does this with a reward model and reinforcement learning. DPO skips both. It learns straight from chosen versus rejected pairs with a simple supervised loss, keeping a frozen reference and one dial, beta, for drift. Reach for DPO when you want RLHF quality without the complexity. Save it and follow for more.